how can we surprise somebody? You know, we want somebody to watch the first few seconds of the video and hesitate a little bit and be like, what is this? What am I looking at here? Funny enough, this one had a little bit of controversy. You know, anytime a post goes over 1 million views, you're going to get some weird comments. Everyone was like, where's the pit? Where's the mango pit? This must be GMO. I'm like, I literally just cut around it. So it's a combination of it being good, interesting content and also, you know, people making stupid comments.
You're listening to Food Empires by Grocer's List. I'm your host, Ben Jabawi. Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing episode of Food Empires. I'm here with Lexi Harrison. Lexi and her mom, Beth, are the founder duo of Crowded Kitchen. They've got millions of followers, some of the most gorgeous recipes I've ever seen, and tons of viral content. It's kind of amazing to watch it happen so frequently. And also, Lexi, you I didn't mention this before, but so we're doing, this is season 1 of the podcast. You've got several shout outs on other episodes from other creators that you've worked with, I think in like a consulting capacity or coaching. So it seems like that's a big part of how people know you as well. So I'm psyched to have you on the show.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, it was, I just recorded earlier this week with Food by Maria, and she mentioned your name as well as being a huge part of her growth. So
that's awesome.
Cool. So yeah, tell us, like, you know, you've got millions of followers. I mean, that's how people know you today, but obviously it didn't start that way. You and your mom, like, was she the cook first? Were you the cook first? Bring us back to the start.
Yeah, I mean, definitely my mom, if we're looking really far back, obviously has got me started on cooking. Growing up, she cooked a lot of we did a lot of home cooking, a lot of baking. I was more the baker growing up than the cook, but I obviously became more interested in savory food the older I got. And then when I was in college, so my mom actually coached me in high school. She was my high school track and field and cross country coach, and running was my sport. And I continued on to run in college, and I went to a very small liberal arts school, and we only had one dining hall. It was awful. And like the food was awful. And, you know, I had some dietary issues at the time. So I started this Instagram account. At the time, it was called Superfood Runner in my junior year of college. And I was just kind of documenting how I was eating and training as a long distance athlete. And that summer, my mom started doing it with me because I decided to go study abroad last minute, the fall of my senior year. And we had just started to be able to post anything. And she had been taking some online courses for food photography, funny enough, just as a passion, and nutrition. So I was like, okay, well, that works well. You're going to have all this content anyway. So if you can just keep it going while I'm abroad, and then we'll see what happens. So she did that for a couple of months. And then when I came home, I kept posting that last semester of college. And then I got my first job at the Feedfeed in New York. So that was back when they were a very small startup. And I worked there for a year. I was hired originally as an editor, and I ended up filming all of their content by about halfway through the first year. They didn't have a full-time photographer at the time. And I was the only one that had like somewhat very limited skill and interest. So I started doing that, and I learned a lot from it. And after a year of doing that, I decided to move back home to Michigan, which is where I grew up, so that my mom and I could take this full time. And then that's when we rebranded to Crowded Kitchen in 2017. And it's just been growing since then. And I should mention also that 2015 to 2019 was such a different time on Instagram. So we were able to grow a lot on Instagram during that time period. And that's where we really started our business, and the blog and everything else came later. So was it the experience at Feedfeed that actually showed you that, wow, there's potential in a career here? For sure.
Had you seen that before from anyone else?
I definitely followed a lot of accounts when I was in college. I had an interest for sure in healthy eating, especially, and even, sport, like athletes that were on social media.
Yeah.
It was such a different time. So it's hard to compare it to what social media is now. But yeah, when I was at the Feedfeed, originally my job as an editor was kind of sifting through all of this content from other food creators and bloggers. So I pretty much know like every single blogger that's been around since 2015 onward.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see what people were doing. And I had such a passion for it. And photography came fairly easily to me. I definitely have a little bit more of a creative brain than an organized business brain. And so, yeah, I just realized that it was something that I could do and I wanted to do myself.
Yeah. So you said that those kind of early years, it was a totally different story on Instagram and you saw a lot of growth. But I also know that there were years where you actually kind of had like no growth, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what were those years, and like, how did you push past that kind of, like, this industry requires consistency in a way that very few others do. And so how do you motivate yourself during those periods where there's just no growth?
Yeah. So I think we grew to about 150K or something in our first maybe 2 years. And so that was around 2016, 2017. And then we grew very slowly for a couple of years. And that's when Reels were introduced, or I don't even know if Reels were around then. It was just video was becoming more popular, and photography has always been my thing. So I was very resistant to change. And we spent a couple of years just being like, even though every single article you read online is like, video's the future, video's the future. I was like, nah, photos are fine. And we still had photos that were going really viral and doing well. So I just kind of resisted it for a while. And around 2022, we started trying to do more Reels, but we didn't really put a lot of thought into our strategy, and we were kind of just filming whatever we felt like, and we were not growing at all. So we were stuck at 217,000 followers for, I think, almost 2 years. Like no change. Change.
Yeah. Like you would win some new ones, you'd lose some new ones, and you're like,
yeah. So, and our Reels were getting, 20,000 views, 30,000, maybe less than that. And we had a couple of viral hits here and there, but not like we do now. So in 2020, gosh, the years are getting confusing now. I think 2023, in May of that year. So my husband started working for us several years ago, and he just got to this point in 2023 where he was like, look, I see all these other people going viral. I know we can do it. We just have to figure it out. So he spent a couple of weeks just working on a new strategy. He basically just watched a ton of videos and kind of aggregated some data on what was doing well and what types of food, what kinds of setups, how long were the videos, what were the transitions and edits like. And we took all of that information and came up with our own specialized strategy around recipes that were a little more creative and a little less focused on the stuff that we were publishing on the blog that was specifically keyword focused, and a little bit more fun and creative. So that May, our first recipe that we posted was a strawberry infused vodka that we actually made at our wedding a couple of years before, and it went super viral. And then we were like, okay, let's keep doing this. And basically since then, we've grown, by 2 million followers on Instagram, almost 3 million followers on Facebook.
Wow.
About 750,000 on TikTok. We've grown our YouTube, and our website has grown a lot, basically just from social traffic. So we've put in almost no SEO efforts in the last couple of years.
So the major unlock was just like, hey, obviously we want traffic on our site, and there's an SEO game there, but let's treat social as like social first and do some fun stuff that's like on brand and seasonal. I know is a big part of it. And then basically apply the funnel once that's successful back to the site to monetize it.
Exactly. And we actually did not post anything on our website that we were posting on social media for the first 8 or 9 months. We really were just like, we just have to focus on social media. It's too much to spread ourselves so thin with trying to do everything. So the first 8 or 9 months, we just focused on growing on social media. And then once we felt like we had that under control, that's when we started putting things on our website as well. And it's just been juggling all of that since then.
Yeah, it's a lot. So
yeah.
How do the three of you like split function?
So my mom does a lot of our recipe testing. She does most of the recipe testing that's for our website. And then she did pretty much all of the testing for our upcoming cookbook. Brent, my husband, and I do. Brent does a lot of the testing actually for our social media friendly recipes. So our Better Than Store-Bought series, that's kind of his thing. And I do, and he also helps me film, and he does a million other things behind the scenes. And I do all of the creative stuff. So all of the videography, photography, writing, all that fun stuff.
I saw, I mean, we'll get into this. I saw you're obviously launching your cookbook soon. I saw your behind the scenes and I was like, wow, Lexi's also like the hand model on the floor.
Pretty much.
It's just wild to watch those behind the scenes. It's so cool. You guys are all so
fun.
Talented. Do you think that you as Crowded Kitchen would have seen the success and growth that you've seen if it was just one of you independently, or do you feel like because you have the three, it just pulls together so nicely?
Yeah, I there's no way I could do this alone. I mean, a big part of our business is also we do quite a bit of custom content for other brands outside of what we do for Crowded Kitchen. So I kind of spend about 50% of my time on that part of the business. So, I mean, if I were doing this alone, there's no way I could do that as well. So I guess I would just be doing Crowded Kitchen and maybe it would be a little easier. But with the way our business is currently set up, there's no way I could do it alone. There's no way. And we have another employee that is like almost full-time. And she has changed everything for us in the last year. She's been amazing.
And what is she doing to support you?
She works in person. She's actually my next door neighbor. So that's pretty cool. Yep. And she helps out with all of our photo shoots because with this custom content business, we sometimes shoot 30 recipes in a week.
Wow.
And we need a lot of help with prepping, cleaning up, prepping for photo shoots, just physical help. And then she also does a lot of just, answering emails and social media stuff.
Sure. Amazing. So let's talk about the seasonal component to the brand, because I feel like I to prep for this, I go through everyone's posts and I'm like, wow, very noticeable. And we'll talk about December in a bit, but like your seasonal stuff really hits big. So how did that come to be?
So that was kind of our strategy when we decided to change things up that first summer. We just realized that really, I mean, that's always actually been something we've really cared about and focused on is honing in on seasonal ingredients. And that's kind of our biggest inspiration for recipes is,
nice.
Looking at what's in season and thinking of creative ways that we can use produce to create recipes that are a little outside of the box. So that when those first couple posts started doing really well in 2023, they were all centered around fruit because it was May, June, July. And so we were like, okay, there's clearly something here. I think also just the vibrancy and the freshness of it. It's just what people want to see on their screens. So that's always been an important component for us. And that's really how our strategy, we've tried to widen our strategy a little bit in the last few years, but we kind of always go back to that. It's just what's in season and how can we creatively use these ingredients.
Yeah, I think it's really smart. I think the thing that I'm in awe about is, it's not a manufacturing process, but you talk about 30 recipes a week. So what is the process, right? If you know that mango is going to be an important ingredient, next month or in the spring or summer, or whatever that is, what does the process look like as a team when you're entering a new month or season? Like, are you planning 30 days out and testing recipes, or is it longer? Like, what does that look like?
I wish I could say that we were organized. We are very disorganized.
That's great. That's actually really helpful. So there's no magic process.
Well, we have a running spreadsheet of probably 800 ideas at this point.
Yeah.
That, every time we add a new idea to the list, we're like, oh, this is genius. This is the best idea ever. And then we look back at it later and we're like, oh, I hate that. We're not doing that. So we're very hard on ourselves with these new concepts. And I think sometimes that's a bit of a problem because, you really just need to put content out as often as possible. And sometimes we get a little too in our own heads with that. But we have a huge running spreadsheet and we pull from that a lot, or we basically just look at content that's done well in the past and try to think of ways that we can create a spin on something, or, just look at it and try to think what was it about this recipe or this video that people really loved, and how can we create something that's similar? That's honestly a good strategy.
Yeah. I originally reached out in December to get you on, and you're like, December's crazy. Like, don't talk to me. We'll do it in January. And and I follow your stuff, and I know, like, is it literally every day that you're posting? Yeah, around the Advent series, right?
Yeah. So we started that 3 years ago. We post a brand new recipe every single day. And every year, well, the first year I think we decided that we were going to do it like on Thanksgiving. So that year it was pretty much every day we were filming something and putting it on the website and editing it and posting it the next day. And then it was chaos. And every year since then, we've said, okay, we're going to have this done by end of November. We're going to have this done by end of October. And it never happens. So December is a lot. Although now that I have a baby next year, truly, like we're going to start filming this stuff in June.
Awesome.
But that has really been extremely successful for us, that series. And it's a ton of work, but it's kind of our thing. And that's something that's really important on social media is really carving out your own niche, but also having these different series and types of content that you're known for, that people can recognize and say, oh, that's Crowded Kitchen. I love this series and I want to follow this.
Yeah. So I was going through December's posts on your account, and I'm just pulling out a few, right? The sour candied citrus peels, the orange and pomegranate, which is so fun to watch. I mean, we'll just play a little clip. That little squeeze is great. And look at the background, like the lifestyle styling of the shoot. You can tell there's a lot that goes into it. The cheese ball. I mean, this is just insane, right? So like what you're saying, and for everyone listening, each of these has really millions of views from what I saw. Not every single one, but a lot of them were over 1 million. So those are all new recipes?
A couple of these, like this one you're on right now, is an older recipe that we repurposed. The Christmas tree cheese ball and the orange and pomegranate pâte de fruits, which are like a gummy, those are both new. So everything that we posted from December 1st through 24th was brand new. And then in November, because we were working on this series, we did a lot of reposts from previous years because we just chose all the things that have done really well in the past. And, we were like, we are way too busy to create new content right now. So it's always worked really well for us. Honestly, it's a great way to keep your social media moving without having to put in a ton of effort during a busy time.
I mean, actually, I don't know if you remember this. We started working together almost 2 years ago. When I was first getting your account set up, you had asked me to go through some of your older posts, which we bring over from, I think you were on ManyChat at the time. And one of the things I noticed was that you are great at repurposing content. That was actually the first time I saw that. I just assumed, before I got into the industry, that like what you see from a content creator in food is new. But talk to us about like the repurposing strategy and, how long between when you post it once, are you recutting these? Are you refilming them? Is it the exact same reel you're posting again? What does that look like?
So I think what you just said, as a viewer, if you're not realizing that the content isn't new, then that's what we've realized, is that other people are not realizing that either. And if a video is going viral, it's attracting millions of new viewers. It's not showing it to the same 2 million people. Maybe it's showing it to the same 200,000 people in your audience that sees your content. But let's be honest, Instagram doesn't show all of your content to your entire audience. So because we have this other side of our business with the content creation, like we go through some periods where we just don't have time to create new content. So this has always been a really important part of our strategy. But sometimes if I'm truly like, do not have time, I will literally just repost the exact same video. No changes, nothing. And sometimes it does well, sometimes it doesn't. But honestly, for me, it's just, I need to get something up, so I don't care that much. Yeah. And then other times we will cut it a little differently or record a new voiceover, especially if it's something that was part of one of our series. We have to re-record a voiceover so that it makes sense. But on Instagram, I try not to post things more than like twice a year, depending on what it is. And I try to space them out several months. However, we have started experimenting more with carousel posts this year.
Oh, nice.
Where we're using photos. And in that case, I don't care as much if it's repurposed, because it's a different format and the photos look different usually if they're from our website. And you can also, do roundups of grouping types of content together. So I've started to repurpose things a lot more. And actually today I'm posting a roundup video of like 15 or so of our most popular better than store-bought recipes. So
that's going to go crazy.
Like I said, we've been a little too hesitant to just like try different things and go outside of our, because we did so well for so long with a very specific formula, and social media has changed a lot in the last year. And we're just realizing you just have to experiment, and who cares if a post doesn't do well, who cares, because it might do extremely well. I mean, we have things that we've reposted that don't do well at first, but then you look back a month later and they've picked up 1 million views.
I think it's awesome to hear you say that, because I think there's probably a lot of people that are way smaller in terms of business size that hesitate to try new stuff and to get it out there. But by the way, before you post that today, you can set up like a carousel in the DM.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I need to do that. Although this one, I actually created a roundup on my website. So I'm just doing one link, because it's like, it's so many recipes, but yeah.
Cool. That sounds good.
So many great functions. Yeah.
So I want to look at what I think is your most viral post ever. The mango lime sorbet. I'm just going to pull it up on the screen. I thought it'd be cool for people to actually just hear you talk through why you think this went viral, or maybe some of the strategic like shots that you've put into this, So let's start with the recipe overall.
Yes. Yeah. So this one was really early on, actually. This was in summer of 2023. This was one of our first, probably 10 super viral posts. And we had actually created a strawberry lemonade sorbet a couple posts before this that did really well, not quite as well as this one. But, we were like, okay, if that did well, then let's do another flavor of this. So I think that this one, it's just a combination of the ease. I think it's three ingredients or 4 ingredients, and it looks cool. It's interesting. That was something we really tried to focus on, especially in the first year and a half, is how can we surprise somebody? We want somebody to watch the first few seconds of the video and hesitate a little bit and be like, what is this? What am I looking at here? And I think this one was just very fresh, very seasonal. It looks refreshing. We posted it in June, I think, or July. So seasonally, it made sense. And funny enough, this one, and this has been true for all of our most viral posts, had a little bit of controversy, which I've come to accept.
Wow.
Anytime a post goes over 1 million views, you're going to get some weird comments. And this one, for some reason, everyone was like, where's the pit? Where's the mango pit? This must be GMO. I'm like, I literally just cut around it. It's not like, have you cut a mango before? You just cut around it.
That is so funny.
Yeah. So there were a ton of comments on that. And then also apparently there is this thing from Costco called Island Way Sorbet,
Oh,
where they
yeah.
serve sorbet in fruit
Yes,
skins.
I've
And I
seen
was
that.
not aware of that. So then everyone's like, they're going to sue you. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So it's a combination of it being good, interesting content and also, people making stupid comments.
Yeah. I mean, I think like one of my questions is like, there's so many awesome shots in this too, the colors and stuff. Like, had you not put it back in the mango, like, do you think that would have been as fun a hook, right? Like, there's so many decisions you made that may have just put it over the top. And also the pace at which you were cutting these, I think this seems like early in that style for you.
Yes. Yeah. We've slowed it down a little bit since then because I watched some of these back and I'm like, gonna get a seizure watching this. But cool. That was really kind of the style at the time and it did really well for us. Yeah.
Amazing. You mentioned one of the things about repurposing that I think has been maybe important for your strategy, like your willingness to test. It sounds like also your success on Facebook, you're not cross-posting, but you're taking something that was on Instagram and you're trying it on Facebook exactly as it is, right? In some cases.
Yes. So our Facebook strategy is totally separate from our Instagram strategy. Facebook, we post anywhere from like 6 to 12 times a day. You can really post as much as you want on Facebook. And that has been a game changer for us. We have our web traffic just from Facebook alone has probably doubled.
Wow.
Especially in the last couple of months because we've really been focusing on it. And especially during holidays and, right now it's a little slow, but when it's a good time of year, it's better. Sure. We don't focus on like healthy recipes really either. So it makes sense. But, we are able to monetize on Facebook directly, plus the monetization from the clicks through to our website. So Facebook has been actually probably our most important platform for the past year and a half, even more so. Instagram, we look at as more of a brand building platform. And it's important for just our general, that's probably our most important audience, but Facebook is our most important for monetization.
Interesting. And so as you think about monetizing your website through ads, RPMs, and then you think about monetizing Facebook, what's the strategy and balance between, hey, this is a reel where we don't want to do comment for DM, right? Mm-hmm. We just want to keep everyone on Facebook. I assume for some, you make a decision like that. And then for others, you're like, no, we want to get them to the site. Which actually pays more?
It depends, because the thing with Facebook is we repurpose content very frequently on Facebook, like every couple of weeks or once a month, depending on the time of year. And so sometimes a post will go super viral and then maybe the next 2 times it won't. And there's no rhyme or reason really that I've figured out as to why something goes viral when it does. I'm sure it has to do with seasonality and timing, but we have tried everything on Facebook. Like sometimes we just do the full recipe in the comment section. Sometimes we do the full recipe plus the link. Sometimes we do link plus comment for recipe. Sometimes we just do comment for recipe. Like we've tried it all, and we pretty much just try to do all of it all the time because we're posting so much that it's like we're able to do that. We're able to experiment a bit. And if it's something that's super seasonal, like during the holidays, my main goal is to get people to the website because, monetization, RPMs are obviously great at that time. So during that time, I don't pretty much ever post the recipe in the comment section. I just care about getting people to the site. But we've also found that even, posts that don't look like they're doing well on Facebook. So sometimes we'll post just like a photo or 2 and the link, and it only has 10 likes or something. But if you go in the analytics, it's actually generated hundreds of clicks to the site, or it'll end up getting, a couple hundred comments for the recipe over time. So it's really just it's
so you're giving anyone all the options,
everything.
basically. Yeah. And like you choose your own adventure, whatever it takes.
Exactly.
You can consume this here. You can consume it on my site. You can comment. And I know you've been just starting to test story reply too.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's been a game changer.
Let's hear about it. Yeah. What's cooking?
I'm so mad at myself that we've been doing this for longer. Stories have always been kind of my last priority, even though I know I should prioritize them more. But we just started doing the comment for recipe and stories, I think in November or something. I mean, hundreds of thousands of DMs, which my DMs are such a mess. So if I've ever not answered your DM, I'm so sorry. But I mean, for whatever reason, who knows how Instagram works, but people, even when we have similar views, if we have a link in the story versus having a comment for a recipe, we get so many more comments than we do clicks, even at the same number of views. It's so interesting. So I don't know what it is about that. Maybe people just want to save it for later, or I really don't know why people like that so much more. But
I think there's two things. One, we don't think about this a lot, but a lot of times people are like too embarrassed to comment publicly on a post. But if it's through stories, they're like, oh yeah, no one's going to see this. I'll reply with the word that Lexi's asking, and so that could be one. And then the other is just that Instagram prefers stories that don't have links in them, because the reason they show stories at the top of our app when you log in is because that's where all the engagement is. And so if there's no link in the story frame and your story's getting a lot of replies, they're going to show that to a much higher percentage of your audience. But so I logged into your account before we got on. You said through stories, you've already sent hundreds of thousands.
I think so. I
have. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
But what's fascinating is over 2 years, even with all the viral posts you've had across Instagram and Facebook, in like 60 days of stories, you're almost at a similar level of DMs.
I know. I thought that was
which
so
is crazy.
Like, that's really crazy, because we've had some insanely viral posts in the last couple of years. So, and we usually do. I mean, we've been using grocery lists now for 2 years. Yeah. So it's wild to see. So I will definitely be doing a lot more of that in the future.
The other thing that I like, just from following along, I know over the past period of time, maybe you can tell us how long, you've started to put yourself on camera a little bit, which you didn't do before. So is that an experiment? Like, is that going well for you? Talk us through like the decision there, because actually, like, anytime we just got back from Tastemaker, and there's a lot of people that are never on camera. And so seeing you slowly transition would be interesting to understand the strategy and how it's going.
Yeah, I am so bad about being on camera. Usually like I said, because we're very disorganized and have so much going on, usually I'm just in, no makeup and like my pajamas while I'm working. So I really have to remember that I need to get ready for the day so I can be in a video. But it's something that I know I need to do more, and I know does well. And it's obviously great for brand building. And I'd love to get my mom in some of the videos as well. But that's always actually been a real pain point for me. I'm also just like a little bit of an introvert. So I struggle with that for sure. I do not have the type of personality where I'm able to just like talk into my camera and make it seem casual and, like I didn't plan it out. So that's something I'm continually working on.
Okay. So it sounds like that's a goal more than something you're actively doing. But I am seeing, like, in some of your cuts in the videos, like I see your face, you're smiling, you've got the recipe in front of you. Like, have you noticed a difference in engagement or not so much?
I think that I don't notice necessarily a difference in engagement, but I do think it's good for brand awareness. And I think that, we will sometimes get comments like, it's so nice to see your face. We're actually at a period or at a point now where we're kind of rethinking our strategy again. We're actually moving in a couple of weeks, and our kitchen is going to be much better suited for filming. So we're probably going to change things up a little bit and have it be more lifestyle, like I'm actually cooking in my kitchen.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, my current kitchen, the lighting is just not great, and we don't have a ton of space to set up lighting. So it's been kind of a struggle, but I think that's what makes sense for our brand going forward. And I kind of hate that because I love to just do videos where I'm not in them and it's really just focused on the food. But, sometimes you got to have a little give and take.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's cool to see you always trying new stuff. And I get that it can be hard to be on camera. It's exhausting.
Yes, it is.
Cool. Well, I know you guys are launching your book, so maybe we'll wrap up on that. Pre-orders live?
Yes. Yeah. It's coming out officially on February 24th. So we're doing all the pre-order stuff right now, which is exhausting in its own way for sure. I think it's just, that's like one of the things, that's the thing that we're still doing. So I think that's important for all of these people that are working alone. I think people feel so much stress and pressure all the time, and just know that even with 4 people working almost full time, you still feel that way. So it's
what surprised you about the book process most?
I think just how long it took. I mean, I knew deep down that it was going to take that long, but I think I'm pretty good at convincing myself nah, we'll be faster. We'll get it done faster than that. We'll be more efficient. And we absolutely were not. And I was also shooting the whole cookbook when I was 6 to 9 months pregnant. So wow. I think just the physical exhaustion shouldn't have been surprising, but was. And then of course, just trying to keep up with the rest of our business while we were working on the book was surprisingly hard, which I also should have known.
Yeah. I mean, you're launching in February.
Yes.
Your son is 8 months old, you said.
Yep.
You were shooting while you were pregnant. So yes. I'm just trying to work back the clock. Is this a 2-year process from we're doing a book to publish?
Yeah, we actually first started talking with our publisher that first summer that we started doing well on social media. So that was summer of 2023. And then we didn't start working on the book until the following summer. I think my mom started testing recipes summer of 2024. And she tested it took her probably almost a year to test everything in the book. But she tested for 6 months straight. And then I started shooting the book in January of last year. And then we finished up edits in May, basically when I think I turned in the manuscript a month before my son was born, which was a big relief.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, we're rooting for you.
Thank you.
If you're listening, why don't you comment the word listen? We'll send you a DM with all the links from today, including a link to their upcoming cookbook. So wishing you best of luck, and to your mom as well. And thanks so much for coming on today, Lexi.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
If you made it this far, you're serious about growing your food empire. Thousands of the top recipe creators use Grocers List to drive more website traffic, grow their email lists, and earn more through paid memberships. Head to grocerslist.com/podcast to learn more about how we can help you grow, engage, and monetize your audience.